to open up our presentation for you, and we're going to get cranking. So we are muted, like I said, if you're just joining us. If you need to ask a question, jot it down, and we will catch you at the end of the presentation. So welcome to TikTok, gang. So here's our team. So if you aren't familiar with the Workforce Investment Board, you have myself up on the top if we haven't met. You have Scott Schultz on the far right, Melissa Rapska, who is with me and will be presenting today. She's our Director of Operations and Communications. She's got the lovely scarf. And then there at the very bottom is Barb Lundberg, who is our Consumer Services Coordinator and also does the work with our Family-Centered Employment. So on behalf of the staff at the Workforce Board, we're thrilled to have you with us today. Moving on, what is TikTok? Well, other than a black hole into which a person can disappear for hours, it is a video sharing app that is free, and it allows users to upload short snippets of video about 15 seconds in length. Videos often involve lip syncing, dancing, or voiceovers. It's sort of growing beyond that, though. Videos can be enhanced with filters, they can be slowed down, they can be sped up. But the overall feel of TikTok is that it's fun, it's creative, it's incredibly clever. I'm so impressed by the sort of content that's on there. You can string little video blurbs together for 60 seconds, so about 60-second max on a video. And this is an app that used to be called, it was musical.ly. And so that was basically an app where people could make their own music videos, and it became huge in Asia. So, and then was bought out and turned into TikTok, and now it is a massively growing social media app. Teenagers and younger people are primarily the users of the app. So it's basically a social network for these folks to share creative content. So what distinguishes it from the other apps that teens are obsessed with, and is it really worth $1 billion and counting? Yes, yes it is. So if we take a look, the largest demographic of TikTok users is between the ages of 16 and 24. However, much like Facebook and Instagram, older generations are getting more involved. So if you don't think that your customer base is on TikTok, think again. So it's not just a fad for Generation Z. It was basically came about in 2018. As I mentioned, it evolved from a video creation app to something so far beyond. We're going to show you some examples. So if you're like, I just am not grasping what this is, don't worry. It's going to make sense. If you're on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, you probably have seen the ways that they engage with consumers through posts, whether it be live stories, live videos. So TikTok allows brands or businesses to do the same thing, to engage with users through video, but just in smaller, bite-sized clips. In the last 12 months, brands have created accounts on the TikTok platform. Big brands like Nike just got on, and that was sort of big news, but there's a lot of other big brands that are out there, but then there's just a lot of average Joes who have become celebrities on TikTok. And by the way, those are called influencers when we have those folks, and we're going to talk about that. So the allure of TikTok is just the sheer numbers of active users, right? So we've got 150 countries, 75 languages, 1 billion installs in the past 2 years, and 800 million users worldwide. And it was the second most popular free app in 2019. So its growth is exponential. It's huge. So if your business might be ready to try TikTok, or at least learn a little bit more about it, this presentation today will give you the basic entry-level knowledge that you need to understand this marketing medium. So poll time. So we opened the poll early so that you guys had something to do while we were getting ready. And so looking at the poll, we can see most of you might be on TikTok personally, but definitely not using it for business purposes. So we're definitely going to tailor the webinar today to business. So how would you use it for business? Because you can use it for personal, and like I said, you can spend hours on TikTok watching videos, but how do we really specifically use this for businesses? So as I mentioned, if your customers aren't on TikTok, or if you think that they're not, you're wrong. And if you really, really think that they're not, their children and their grandchildren are. So it's going to come up very much like Facebook and Instagram did. Facebook came up, it was for college kids, and then their parents got on and the kids moved off. And they moved over to Instagram, and then their parents got on Instagram, and then they moved off. And so and then they moved to Snapchat. Now they're moving to TikTok. So there's kind of this ever-evolving medium that is TikTok that's constantly moving. And it's been about a minute since, in the world of the internet, it's been about a minute since TikTok crashed the global social media party. And so a lot has happened. We've got some examples for you. So this isn't just a fad. So the Washington Post has a TikTok app expert. How fun of a job would that be? BuzzFeed is recruiting teens to cover the election on TikTok for them. Justin Bieber is desperate for his single Yummy to go viral on TikTok and has been doing a number of videos. And then there's a whole who's of celebrities, including everyone from Snoop Dogg to Reese Witherspoon, who've opened accounts and are starting to do challenges and different things. It didn't take long for ads, of course, right? You have to monetize it, and TikTok's a business in and of itself. So they were able to monetize how they do this. And so the floodgates are open for advertising. So brands like Chipotle, Nike, as I mentioned, Skittles, Pepsi, Universal, they are all out there on TikTok and taking over. So let's set the stage. So to understand it and really understand how you can use it, you need to understand it. So we have some examples for you of ways that people are using TikTok. And this is going to help set the stage because we've got 4 examples, and they're pretty fun too. Okay, so hopefully you can hear the music. If you can't, it's Thriller. If you're not sure who this is Twitch. If you like Ellen DeGeneres, this is her DJ. So why would anybody watch this, right? Because Twitch is pretty fun. We get to see what his pantry looks like, so we get an insight into his home. TikTok has exploded during the quarantine because people are at home and they're bored. So, but note the fun music. So who doesn't love Thriller, right? Everybody shakes it. He's got the filter. He's got the purple haze filter going. And then if you give it a second, there's the cute kid cameo that everybody loves, right? So recipes for social media success always involve cute children and animals. So again, super easy, nothing major here, and yet Twitch has a whole lot of followers. So that's example 1. So that's sort of the dancing musical piece of what TikTok is. Example number 2 is the challenge. So this one has been sort of the latest one. This is called the Flip the Switch. I'll let you watch it and then I'll explain. So pretty self-explanatory, right? So there are 38,000 videos right now and counting every day for the Flip the Switch challenge. It was started by Jennifer Lopez and A-Rod, and all it involves is one person standing behind the mirror and another person standing sort of back behind that. When they flip the switch, the light goes off, and then they have switch places and switch clothes. And there's some pretty funny ones. It's really hard to find an appropriate one for a webinar because some of them are pretty humorous. So that number, that 38,000, just so that you know, from the time that I created this presentation last week until today, it went up 6,000. There are 6,000 additional Flip the Switch videos. And so this is a good example of a challenge. So I want you to sort of file that away in your brain for later because we're going to talk about challenges. It's one of the most effective ways that TikTok is used. And we're going to talk about the Scoob challenge, which is the big thing this week. And so we'll come back to that. Okay, example 3. I know, doesn't that look so good? So how to make chocolate chip cookies in less than a minute. So there's a lot of learn from me hashtag videos, right, that are done like this, that are short snippets of how to make something. But now if you're a restaurant and you have a recipe that your people go bananas over, maybe you want to share it, especially during this time. Especially if you don't think it's going to really harm you to do that. Go for it and share that recipe and get it out there. And so if you search Learn From Me on TikTok, you can learn how to do a lot of things, anything from makeup application to crafting to interior design to cooking. So these are just short little videos that teach you something. So think about your business and what you do and if it could maybe be applicable in that fashion for you. And then our last example is this is the one for retail guys. And so I'm going to let you listen. Okay, so in 60 seconds, they were able to show you an enormous amount of products. So this is it's a good example of a couple of things. How you can use text overlays. We're going to talk about that. How you can highlight your products. This video has 4.1 million likes, and this gal has 335,000 followers. So she's definitely an influencer, but you don't need a big level influencer to do things like this. So if you have a retail store and you want to do a quick thing like that, it's going to take you maybe just a few minutes to do it, but you can highlight a lot of products in a very short time. So for retail, hashtag retail therapy is trending on TikTok, especially during the COVID times. So if you team up with brands that you sell, or you have youth in your community who you think have probably a pretty big following, this is a great opportunity to team up with them and see if they want to work with you on something like this too. So that's 4 examples. Okay, so you acknowledge that TikTok is fun. Where do we go from here? All right, so first step, you got to create a TikTok profile. And this is super easy, gang. So you download TikTok from Google or your App Store on your iPhone. Tap the profile or notifications tab and sign up following the steps in the app. Super easy. So you're going to tap this little section down here where there's a little black plus sign, and away you go. Your email address and phone number will be used to log in, and if needed, recover your password. So just make sure that you do put ones in that are valid that you can actually go back and check. Then once you've gotten that far, then you have some different account considerations to take in. So after you create your account, you can create your display name. So that should reflect your business. So your display name, looking at the example that we've given, is the Courtney Delfino in bold on top. Your username is the one that follows the @ symbol, and that can only be changed every 30 days. So when you put it in, you're going to want to really think, you know, don't put something silly in there. You're going to want something that really represents you. You can change your profile pic. Same rules apply. So if you were on the Instagram presentation, same rules apply. Don't just slap up your logo. Put a profile pic that shows who you are, what you sell, really grabs and encompasses your brand and the feeling that you want customers to take away with your brand. And then you can add a bio and link. So if you look below the red follow button, it's very short. Travel, style, photography tips, let's travel. She's got her Gmail address in there and then her website. So super basic. You can use the emojis, do things like that to get the fun little feel to your bio. And then you can have more than one TikTok account. So if you have several businesses, you can do that. So you really shouldn't be doing TikTok from your personal account unless that's the only account that you're using and you're only using it for business. Otherwise, if you're putting up pictures of you or videos of you, you're going to want that to be separate from your business. So you don't really want those two to crisscross. So you can have more than one account and get to it from the app and be able to really easily go in between. All right, this is one of my favorite videos. This is an excellent example of voiceovers. So again, you can add voices, you can add music. So it's time to create your first video. Sky's the limit, gang. You're going to have to experiment a little bit. When we got on TikTok, it took us a little bit to figure it out. But you really, I mean, you can always delete a video. It's not the end of the world. So when you're ready to create your first video, you tap the black plus button at the bottom of the screen, and it will ask for permission to access your phone, your microphone, all of that. So you're going to have to give it to it. If you want it to work, it's going to have to happen. And then you're going to go to the recording page, and it's going to come up with a red circle to start recording. So you're going to choose whether you're going to do 15 seconds, 60 seconds, and then you're going to start making your video. And you're going to hit the record button and hit it once for a video, and then hit it several times, or hold it down, excuse me, if you want to take a 60-second video. So you have the option to play with that a little bit. So once you've got your video, then you can add music. And so I'm going to switch over. We're going to give the mic to Melissa, and she's going to talk to you about adding music and effects. And this is where it really gets fun, and this is really the meat of TikTok.
All right. So music, as Mari explained, TikTok, a lot of it is about, you know, the music and the voiceovers. It's become very popular for people doing lip syncing videos. As I'll get into later, a lot of the influencers that are the top of the top on TikTok are really infamous for doing voiceover music videos. So in order to select videos, you can, or videos, pardon me, apparently I have not had enough coffee this morning. In order to select different music, you can choose from what is trending, you can choose from the greatest hits, and it gives you a variety of options to be able to add overlays to your videos that you've recorded. And through that, you can search for specific songs that you might be looking for. Say like Brown Eyed Girl, like that's a popular one. I know this morning as I was getting ready for the presentation, I saw an adorable video of a puppy being staged to the Shaggy song, It Wasn't Me. And so that's just an example of some of the creative ways that people are slicing and putting together different music overlays to give their videos a fun feel. So effects, here is really where TikTok can come into play and you can really personalize your video. So with effects, it's very similar if you were with us for our Instagram presentation last week. If you think about when I was talking about filters and you're able to add different overlays and different special like editing options to your video. So on the bottom of your screen, so on the right-hand corner, the little arrow is pointing to where you can make adjustments for the length of your video that you're recording. And also you can choose if you don't want to do a video and you have still photos you want to use, the templates option on the bottom of the screen gives you some options to essentially play videographer and put together different collages of videos. For the purposes of this presentation, I'm going to focus more on the live video aspects and what effects that you can do with the actual real life videos that you're filming. So with different effects, you have the option to add more fun enhancements, basically. So if you see the little effects guy with the smiley face, when you click on that, you're going to be able to have various different essentially filters, for lack of a better term. If you are on Snapchat or are familiar with Snapchat at all, it's very similar to those kind of filters that you can apply through like the Snapchat app. So that middle image on your screen on the bottom there is showing you some examples of different filters, or pardon me, different effects that you can apply to your video. So with that, you can do it in selfie mode or in regular camera orientation, depending on which effect that you select will depend on, you know, how the effect is applied to your video. Now, it's very important to mention that before you hit record on your video, it's important to make sure you have all of your effects selected so that once you begin recording, the video is going to be taking those into account. So you are able to, after you record a video or say upload a video you've already recorded to TikTok, you are able to make some edits to the video. However, you won't have all of the different features available that you're seeing right now through the app before you hit record. So that's just something that's important to note, that I just want to make sure that everyone is aware of when you are looking at the different effects and editing options that TikTok has. Now on the right side of the TikTok screenshot there, you're able to see some other different features that the app has. So flip is basically the orientation of the camera, whether you're in selfie mode or whether you're filming, say, like yourself making a chocolate cake. And then additionally, you have speed, so you can speed up or slow down the video. There is a beauty filter effect. I don't know, I tried it this morning and I didn't necessarily see it beautify me, but I'm sure that with experts at TikTok, they're able to manipulate that feature. And then also there are filters. So these filters are very similar to the Instagram filters that we went over last week. So you can choose to modify the feel of the video that you are filming. And then there is the timer feature. So similar to the camera that you use through your smartphone, you're able to set a timer on a video. So in case you need to, if you're filming yourself, you're able to capture that image. So with the different filters and editing options that are available, you have access to dozens of different screen colors and contrast levels and more. Some of the filters make specific items look more appealing, like the options under the food tab, which we have pictured on the left-hand side of your screen. It gives you the opportunity for food recordings to do different visual qualities. I know social media, there's lots of pictures of food out there. I know one of my favorite food bloggers, she is on TikTok and has been going just insane with the videos and that she's been posting of food. So it's a great opportunity to be able to enhance your product and also really display it in a unique way by utilizing the different filters and effects that you have available to you. So next we're going to get into what's called text overlays. So in that one example that Mari showed, it did a really good job of utilizing text overlays to sell and feature their product that they were displaying through the video. So adding text overlays is very simple, very easy to do. And once you have your video recorded, you're able to add text overlays. So it's very simple. You're able to add it by hitting the capital A, small a symbol, and then from there you can customize your text. So after you select that double A symbol, you're brought to the different screen that you're seeing on the right-hand side of your screen right now, and you're able to type in the specific text that you want to have featured. For this, you can adjust the different text style. You can choose to have the text highlighted. You can modify the color. You can modify the color of the highlight. And once you have your text added and you're happy with the content, then you can click Done, which is on the upper right corner of your screen. Now, it's very important to keep in mind that you can only change the placement of the text on the screen and the timing after this point. Now, so if you go and click Done and then you realize that you have a typo or you wanted to have it phrased this way, you're going to have to go back to this editing process, which you can do, but you're going to have to redo all of the text overlays that you've put in. So that's something that's very important to note before we continue with the placement process. So text overlay part 2. So here's where you can get really fun and creative with the text overlays that you're doing. So whether you want to create, like, say, an intro or an outro for your video, or if you want to feature different products or different steps, like, say, if you're doing a video tutorial on making tacos because, hey, it's Cinco de Mayo today. So with that, what you can do is you can drag and readjust the text overlay that you've provided, and then to set the duration of the text overlay, you click the text that you want to set the duration for, and then the blue arrow right here is showing you that you can either edit the text or you can set the duration. So then you would select the set the duration, and then you will be brought to a separate screen that will allow you to essentially drag a timing bar so that it matches with the desired timing of your text overlay portion of the video. So if any of you have used very basic video editing software, it's like that, and you can essentially choose the amount of seconds that you want the specific text overlay to be appearing for. You can select the different placement in the video that you want the text overlay to be featured, and you can also preview the text overlays that you've done before you hit next and officially post the video. So after you have all of the different text overlays completed that you want to have in the video, then you would click the next button on the bottom right-hand side of the app screen. So that's really text overlays in a nutshell. Now, if you were with us for our webinar last week, hashtags are still here and they are here to stay in a lot of the different social media platforms that are becoming more and more popular. So this really will be a refresher for those of you who had joined us last week, but with that in mind, for those of you that may be new to our presentation, I wanted to at least set a baseline for what a hashtag is. So a hashtag is a word or phrase that's preceded by a hash sign or pound symbol for those of you who still remember that. And it's used on social media websites and applications, especially Twitter. Twitter is where it became very popular and really hit the social media market. And hashtags are used to identify messages and content that are on specific topics. Now, with specific topics, you might be thinking, okay, well, how do I use this and how does it specifically apply to TikTok? So why use hashtags on TikTok? And in addition to using them on TikTok, all of the points that I'm going to cover right now are really applicable, especially to Instagram, the Instagram platform and the Twitter platform if you are utilizing that platform for your business. Facebook, it's a little bit hit or miss on hashtags. You're able to utilize hashtags, but it's not as popular as it is on TikTok and Instagram. So really what hashtags are is they're essentially SEO for social media. So just like with a website, hashtags are important for getting your content and your content visible to the market and the audience that you are trying to attract. So hashtags help by getting your content more visibility and helping users find the content that they're looking for. So anyone that's looking for content on a specific topic or area of interest, they can simply use a relevant hashtag just to discover such content. So from a business point of view, it's vice versa, really. So as hashtags can help your content reach the right people, they can also help the right people connect with your content. So with that said, it's very important to utilize hashtags to really help your business benefit from being on these platforms. So how do you use hashtags on TikTok in particular? So hashtags really help you to amplify your reach on the platform. It helps you by connecting with people that are, have certain interests, and it also helps you extend your reach beyond your followers. So really it can help you generate more followers in the long run. So people often follow hashtags related to topics of their interest. And if you use hashtags in your content, you will begin to show up for people who are following these hashtags and will hopefully ultimately follow you because of the unique content that you're posting in your videos. So this means instead of just showing your content to only your followers, hashtags really allows you to reach more people and increase your essentially your quote-unquote SEO on the platform. And with hashtags, another great way to utilize them is really, it's going to help you identify your competitors and see what they're doing on the platform. It's a great way, like Mari said, it really is a black hole of videos that you can get sucked into for hours. I know even getting ready for this presentation, I would go to the app and I would get sucked in and time would go by and I was trying to remember, okay, wait, what was I doing on the app? What was I looking for on the app? And with that said, what you can do is by exploring what different, say, retailers are doing, whether they're within your current market or elsewhere, it's really important to understand what they're doing, what hashtags they're using, and how they're interacting and connecting with their audience. The saying always goes, imitation is the best form of flattery. Well, with social media, especially with duets, which we'll be getting into later on, TikTok is very much embraces that form of flattery. So imitating your competition and getting ideas for your future videos is a great way to utilize hashtags by searching for similar hashtags like Mari had mentioned, retail therapy, and seeing what others that are posting content to that hashtag are doing. And as I had mentioned, hashtags really allow you to get more followers. It really helps you in terms of connecting with an audience that is really looking for your content. So with that said, in terms of gaining more followers, it's really important to understand what influencers are and really how influencers work on TikTok. So similar to YouTube, the heart of TikTok is the videos that people share and the videos that people like and favorite. So the more entertaining the video, the better they resonate with audience. However, unlike YouTube, the videos are shorter, as we've mentioned, and they're filmed in a vertical format, the way people usually hold their phones. You know, like we've been saying, you know, homemade music videos are still performing well on the platform, and also original musical songs as well. There is now the rise of more non-musical content coming onto TikTok, and most of them are very comedic in nature. So, I mean, right now with COVID-19 and the different atmosphere that we're living in, it's a great app to just get some comic relief and just have a good laugh. So just keep that in mind when we get to the generating content portion. So with the behaviors of different TikTok users, it's important to understand why influencers are unpopular, but also how they're engaging on the app. 68% of people that are engaging on TikTok, they're watching someone else's videos, and they're liking someone else's videos, or they're being followed by someone else. So really watching other people's videos rather than generating content is the primary reason why TikTok users are on the platform. So now we're going to show you who the top 3 influencers are on TikTok. So you'll see Charlie on the left there. So she is an America social media personality and dancer. So as of May 1st, she's already accumulated 53 million followers on the platform. She has been deemed the reigning queen of TikTok, and she is the most followed individual person on the platform, and she's only 16 years old. She also has her own clothing line that she promotes and produces through the app. Lauren Gray Beach in the middle there, she's an American singer. She is a self-deemed social media personality. She has over 42 million followers on TikTok, 19.2 million Instagram followers, and 3.74 million YouTube subscribers, all as of April. I'm sure those numbers have grown astronomically since then. She's also signed to Virgin Records and Capitol Records, and she has just celebrated her 18th birthday. Now, Zach King, so he is an American TikToker, and he's a former Vine video maker. That is really his claim to fame. Now, a lot of you are really probably wondering, what the heck is Vine? Vine is was, I'm not sure if it's still, oh, it is? It's gone? All right. So Vine was basically a video version of Twitter. It was 6-second videos that were just, you know, 6-second clips that people made up, and apparently it just didn't catch on like TikTok is. But for Zach King, what he did is he did a lot of different magic tricks. A lot of his videos are really about digital sleight of hand, and it's really unique with how he is producing his content. So really his job is to be a YouTube personality, and he breaks the curve here. He is actually 30 years old. So what's really important to note about these top 3 influencers are they're all regular people, and they're not celebrities, and they're all under 30 years old. So it really aligns with the different audiences and demographics that we already noted that are utilizing the platform. Now, with influencer marketing, really the key to success with working with it on TikTok is working and collaborating with influencers whose followers match your target audience. So really, to be successful for you on TikTok, you need to appeal to the TikTok demographic. So if you're selling fashion accessories to tweens and teens, you know, utilizing this influencer marketing platform may be really, really beneficial to you. However, depending on, like, say if you're selling tools for DIY, you know, TikTok marketing might not be worth the investment, but With that said, the demographics are changing. I mean, I know I myself, I'm not within the 18 to 24-year-olds that are watching the platform, and you know, there is potential for that down the road as the audience continues to expand. But it's really important to remember that when you are marketing your product, that you're considering the audience that is using the platform.
All right, so let's talk about the popular kinds of content. We've sort of started to delve into this a little bit. And I know that you couldn't hear the sounds on those other videos. Thank you to the chats that we got. I think we have it solved, and if we don't, I have a MacGyver solution. So the first popular kind of content to talk about is duets. And so, again, as a business, you might be like, I'm not doing this. TikTok is really the place to make somewhat of a fool of yourself, or have other people make fools of themselves. So a duet can be a dance. It can be a song. It can be even, do you remember those tutorials of the chocolate chip cookies that I showed you? It can even be you trying to make that. So there's a way on TikTok that you can split your screen, and you can have the original video on one side and then you doing whatever they're doing on the other. And it's hilarious because you have, you know, you could have J-Lo doing part of her dance from the Super Bowl and then like a 50-year-old man trying to do it on the other side. And so it creates comedic content. But you're going to want to get the similar hashtags to get exposure and then tag as many of those influencers as you can. Some of this you might be like, I don't want to do this, but and we're not saying that you have to. The primary thing that you want to do is drive people to your content. So there's different methodologies for doing that. So the other piece, so there's challenges and then there's socially driven promoted hashtags. So for a challenge, that was like the TikTok or the flip the switch challenge that we showed you. So some influencer will start a challenge and people will go bananas over it. So one of the biggest trending challenges on TikTok today and this week, and again, remember, this is all about marketing, is what's called the Scoob Challenge. So if you don't have kids, there's a new movie coming out called Scoob, and it is Scooby-Doo. And so what their marketing team did was get the actors from Scoob and the computer-generated dog to do this dance, and it's called the Scoob. And then there's all these people doing the Scoob, and it's the Scoob Challenge. And so there's incredibly famous families that are all doing the Scoob, and it's pretty basic. I mean, it's easy to do. But what they're doing is they're creating a tremendous amount of awareness around this video and this movie release. And so they're smart. So they're doing it that way. The other piece is sort of, and this is what we've seen the big rise of during COVID-19, is the socially driven. So, you know, things like mental health awareness, hashtag thank you frontline, hashtag one community, hashtag everyday heroes, hashtag medical heroes. So there's sort of all of these different hashtags. And there's a lot of content on TikTok right now being done by medical frontline staff who are losing their minds and creating really funny like little dance videos and other things just as a tension release and sort of a stress release. But also drawing attention to some of that socially driven hashtag creativity. So the best way to get more eyeballs on your content is to find the popular challenges or the socially driven hashtags and create your own to respond to that. When you log into TikTok and you tap the home button, that will show you what is trending. So you will be able to see what's trending in a day and figure out maybe if there's a way that you can somehow relate. And there's nothing wrong. I mean, if you're a fun business and you have a couple employees who are willing to do the Scoob, do it. It takes 2 seconds. It's less than 15 seconds in the total video. And it's fun. And so having some of that creative energy is not the worst thing. And that's how you're going to engage your consumers. And then the final one is the influencer takeover. So you can get creative content from them, but if they announce that they're doing something with you on their social media, you'll be able to get more followers. And so when we talk about an influencer takeover, you're probably not going to get Jimmy Fallon, right, to do something for you. However, there may be somebody in the community that has 600 followers. And so if you have somebody in the community, you know, Ashland's small. If 600 people in the community are following one person, that person then would become a small community-based influencer. It doesn't matter if they're a 14-year-old from, you know, the high school, whatever. Like, if you can engage with these people, a lot of the times the kids are excited to help And so if you can get them to promote something, or if you can get them to do something with your retailer, talk about the kind of outfit that they bought. So there can be some creative ways that you can have an influencer takeover without it being some massive celebrity name. Can Nike do that? Absolutely. Can, a typical Main Street business? Probably not, unless he happens to be like a third cousin. So what kinds of content works best? So the kinds of content that works best tends to fall into one of two categories. Melissa talked about remembering your audience. So do you see that cassette tape? So 80% of TikTok, oh, we got a typo there. You have no idea what that is. So just remember that when you're thinking about your content, is make it appropriate to your audience. Okay, so we're going to see if we can't get the video to work. So comedy is at the heart, and it lends itself to excellent content. So this is Howie Mandel, right? Everybody knows Howie. And so this is a good example of a duet. So I'm going to go ahead and click play, and we're going to hope that we can get some sound to you on this one. So it's pointless, right? Like, what was that? But it's funny, and it's a way that people are entertained. So there's ways to inject comedy. The more comedic it is, the more shareable it is. Like, do you guys remember, like, America's Funniest Home Videos? People love laughing at people making fools of themselves, like, whether it's on accident or intentional. So having humor makes it much more shareable. People will share funny stuff. The other piece is inspirational content. If you are looking for faith-based videos, TikTok is full of teenagers and others talking about their faith-based activities and sort of their ruminations on what all of that means. And then there's inspirational content in terms of just like right now, like frontline staff, right? And so TikTok is where people go to get away from. So Instagram is all about filters and beautiful and it's all lovely and oh my gosh, look how amazing my life is. Facebook, it has a little bit of that and a little bit of politics. And sometimes people just want to get out, and then there's the ads in Facebook, right? So they want to get out of that. So TikTok is sort of that raw and authentic content, and that really speaks to users. So you want to be yourself. So here's some frontline workers, and we're going to hope that the video. Okay, so those are two clearly grocery store, liquor store workers who probably were restocking at 3 in the morning and got punchy. But they created this really fun video. And so again, you guys can do stuff like this in your own businesses. And that was 15 seconds, and it was so cute. So there's a way, it caught my eye, and it's one of the more trending. I found that video yesterday. I was looking at the hashtag Everyday Heroes. That's the top video. That 15 seconds of those two gentlemen is the top video right now on Everyday Heroes. So, so now you've created your video. You've come up with whatever you're going to do. It's time to share it, right? So you're going to tap the red circle with the white check mark at the bottom, right of your screen, and then tap next. And then you'll be able to do all of the things that we just told you about, right? You can write in your description, add your hashtags. You can add your friends, so you can tag your friends or brands, all right? So keep in mind that @ symbol, you can type in @Nike if it's, I don't know, you're out running with amazing shoes, whatever it is. You can add your links. You can decide who can see the video, if it's going to be public, private. You can save the video to an album if you want, and then you can also decide if you want to push that video to WhatsApp, Instagram, and Facebook. So they do have that functionality where it can just push automatically. Once you finish creating your post, you've got your video, you've got all the stuff in mind, you tap the red post button at the bottom, and away it goes. You do have the option to save it to drafts if you need to do more work on it. But once it's up, but it can be deleted. So remember that. It can be deleted. So you can play with these a little bit, guys. Chances are you create a TikTok account, you're not going to have a whole lot of followers the first couple of weeks. So, and that's okay. That's the perfect time to experiment and play with it a little bit. There is a gentleman from Pennsylvania who is 52-year-old. He's a total biker guy, tattoos head to foot. His videos are some of the funniest videos I've ever seen. I think I might even have one in here for you guys. I think his tag is That Rhodesian. So if you can find him, he's amazing. He does an excellent job with voiceovers, and he takes all. Do you guys remember the Hey Linda, Hey Linda, the video it was getting a lot of play. It was this little kid, and he was trying to reason with an adult, and he's like, Linda, listen, Linda. So he takes the sound bites from those videos and then does them as an adult. It's incredible. Okay, so final notes. Let's talk about this because this is really important. So TikTok, you can block users. So they won't be able to follow you. They won't be able to comment, do anything like that. So we put the instructions on here. Here's where it gets dicey, guys. So TikTok's really fun to play on, but you have no parental controls, nor do you have any control over what video might pop up next in your feed. And so they autoplay. I will tell you right now, most of the videos on TikTok probably have some sort of inappropriate language in a song, or may have some inappropriate language in the video, especially the ones where people are falling down. There are some that are incredibly family friendly too. So you can limit the content by going through and going into restricted mode. And when you do that, that will sort of limit some of the stuff that's maybe inappropriate. So what I'm trying to say though is you don't want to be on TikTok on your phone with like your 4-year-old next to you because you don't know what's going to come up. And so I can tell you, I have a 5-year-old. He thinks TikTok's hilarious, but I have to be very careful with what I show him, and he thinks it's amazing. But at the same time, I don't let my feed run because you don't ever know what's going to pop up next. So it is important to think about on any social medium that you're using. You know, you have to think about who's following you and what you're putting. You probably don't want to put like something with your house and your address and, you know, that kind of stuff. So just keep that in mind too. It's always good.
No. Snapchat? Still no. Then what do you have? A life?
We figured that was a fun one to end with. If you couldn't hear, he said, you know, do you have Snapchat? No. Do you have Instagram? No. He goes, well, what do you have? And she says, a life. So, you know, there's a lot of different mediums for working through this, but play with it. We're happy to help. We're sort of figuring this out too. So the more that we can sort of help businesses, the happier we are. We've provided some resources for you. So video magic, hashtags, how to create your account. These are all step-by-steps. If there's anything that you can't find, you can Google. There's a number of resources. TikTok itself does a really good job with a whole user manual that you can follow along with. And again, we're happy to help if you need it. We are going to send out this presentation afterwards, and you will have all the links to all the videos that you may have missed so that you can go back and check them out. But in all seriousness, you can get lost in TikTok for hours. So we've included our contact information. So if you need to contact us, you certainly can. We're happy to help. TikTok is a lot of fun. Instagram is a lot of fun. They're all a lot of fun. So, you know, again, let us know. We're happy to help. So I'm going to go ahead and unmute, and then you guys will have the ability to ask questions. So give me just a second here. We're going to jump out.
All right. Well, Mari's getting ready to unmute everyone. We hope that you enjoyed today's webinar. And if you have any questions now, feel free to shout them out. That's what I was just thinking. I think we're all soaking it in, maybe.
Wendy, I see you're on. You've got an amazing shoe store. I just envision like you could do all these fun feet videos. Like you could have a Footloose song playing. You could do all these really fun things. So you know you really have to think about sort of what's applicable to you. What could you do? And how can you maximize this? Oh, somebody just said you could go in the window and do it, Wendy. How fun would that be? Or get some like. Well, I think you've got some like lovely little teenage gals or guys who could do something fun with the shoes in the window and then tape it. You could have a lot of fun with TikTok. And again, it doesn't need to be long, so nobody's committing to anything. 15 seconds.
And one of the things that we're going to be sending you as a follow-up is a guided bonus material of a step-by-step of how to really craft your video to be appropriate to share on the Instagram platform as well. So that way, as you're creating content for TikTok, you're able to maximize it and get it out across a lot of your different social media networks. So just keep that in mind that you'll be getting that resource as well.
Does anyone have any other questions for us or anything that we can help answer? Okay. If you end up with questions, let us know. You have the contact. We will send you the presentation and the resource this afternoon yet. So we'll get all of that uploaded. It'll be on demand if you want to watch it or share it with another business that you think could benefit from seeing it. If you don't do anything with this with your business, that's fine. But at least now, if somebody starts talking to you about it, you know what TikTok is. So thanks, you guys. Have a great rest of your day. And thanks so much for attending.